Hola, mujer.
Hola, mujer.
You seem shy today. What's up?
I do. It's the first podcast, and I didn't know that I would be so stressed. Whew. But deep breath, as you said.
You know what they say? No one gets it perfect the first time, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, I remember when I told you that I want to record the podcast, you told me, you know what? First time you're going to be bad, but after 100, maybe you're going to be less bad a little bit,
Yeah.
So I was like, that's true, but do I want to do it 100 times just to get a little bit better at fucking recording podcast? I'm not sure. But well, here we are.
You've always wanted to make a podcast, so this is nice. You are living your dreams.
Yeah, I always wanted to make
like
a
it's
podcast.
Mujer.
Yes. So today I made a little bit of a plan. I prepared a list of the fears and worries that I have starting a podcast. Anxious person that I am. So I would love to share them with you. But I think before that, I remember last time we talked about the story of how Mujer even started, and it was so lovely to hear it again, and I would love to hear it once again now. What do you think?
So you want me to retell the same story I had told?
Yes.
Easy. I really like to repeat myself. As a teacher, we do this all the time. I'm afraid it's becoming a bit of an addiction, though. So you remember the year was 2020, I think, or 2019.
How do people who are not 80 years old remember years? I don't remember my life in years. I remember it chronologically. Like, it was before I came back to Poland, this kind of chronology. How do you remember a year?
I think it was either December 2019 or January 2020, right before COVID. So let's say it was December.
It was December for sure. Because I went home for Christmas.
Yeah, you came to visit Hanoi, I think part of a tour in Asia. And I was hosting you through couchsurfing.
Visit Hanoi. I was escaping Vietnam because I was very sick, actually. Yeah, I was even in a hospital in Saigon, in Ho Chi Minh. I'm not sure I told you about it. And I went to the north because I was planning to go back. And yeah, I sent you a message on couchsurfing. Hopefully I have read your profile. I'm not even sure, but you accepted me nonetheless.
Yeah, it was that time I was taking in everybody. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you were open as...
Yeah, Greg was there already and he was Polish and he had extended his stay. And I was like, let's spice this up. Let's get another Polish person in. I was like, what are the odds I'm receiving this request from that Mujer, So yeah, you told me so many times I did not give you the treatment I usually give my guests. And I'm sure I apologize for that. I'm very sorry about this, He got it.
This was so bad of a treatment. I remember that on the city tour that I begged you for, because Greg was like bragging about it, and I was like, wait, what? He took you ice cream?
Oh, really?
What?
I did? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so. Then we went to a bank because we had some business to do on the other side of the street. Yeah.
Do you know what I remember? I remember taking you to the Banana Island. I presume you saw some men playing badminton and swimming naked. I presume.
No badminton. They were working out, I think.
Naked. Fantastic. So that was something. That was a sight to be seen, eh?
Listen, I'm not complaining.
I gave you my camera. Oh my God. Do you remember the camera? Do you still have it?
Of course I have the camera here. It's such a memento.
But yeah, that was the first time you held it, It was when you went like roaming around the city. So
I don't know even why. Why did you give me the camera? Like, is this something that you did with people?
Never. No, you seemed like the kind of person who would actually use it purposefully.
And I did. I made beautiful pictures.
I have things that I appreciate. Like maybe I have these rare seeds that I brought home from Egypt. I have some Turkish coffee, and I would not serve it to just anybody unless I know it's the kind of thing they would appreciate because they like it or because maybe they visited Turkey or Egypt or the Middle East and they already know what it is. So I'm like, I would treat them this way because that's something they would understand. They would get it. A random person would not. And you seemed like you were excited a lot about actually taking photos.
Yeah. I think I was generally very excited, and I think I'm not anymore. Like you changed. Yeah, you changed also a bit. But first impression, I think, would still be the
I
same,
mean,
probably.
when you met me, I was already losing all the excitement. The fire of life was leaving me, steadily. By the time we met, yeah.
Yes, but you still had all the stories in the pocket because they just happened, you know? But you were philosophically on more nihilistic side already.
Yes, 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 yes. But I don't remember what
Like, I
stories
don't
you're
want
talking
to.
about.
Our epic conversation about religion next to the Hanoian
Oh
lake.
my
That's what
god.
I'm basically talking about. I wasn't the first mujer in your life, right? That you called mujer, I mean.
No, you were not. So yeah, it's like there was that time in my life when I learned a little bit of Spanish through that website called Live Mocha. It was way before Duolingo became a
Live
thing.
mocha?
It was better. It was amazing. Mark my word, it was amazing. That was in 2009 when I started using it. Back when you were a child, Yeah, it was
Was
really good.
14.
I learned things like hermano and hombre and mujer, and maestro, hola,
Maestro! Oh,
gracias. Mexico, like I learned a few words. I told you the story of that time I went to Laos and there was this Ukrainian guy who was calling his Spanish friend mujer. So the word was never forgotten. I always had it in my mind. And then there was that time in my life, I also learned Frau and Fraulein or Fraulein friend in German. Yeah, so I think 2018 was the time I started calling women women for fun.
Oh wow. Calling women women for
Yeah.
fun for the first time. This is deep, I think.
However, actually, like I would do it with whom there was Talea from Mexico. That would say hi mujer, and then she like don't call me that. I'm like, okay, habibti, hi. So I would tease her because she was like, you make me feel older, and I'm like, okay, you're not. It's fine. Just chill. I never really called her mujer all the time. It was just a thing to tease her sometimes. No bad intentions. Just sometimes I can be annoying. I used to really enjoy being annoying. I don't anymore though. So
that's changed so much. You became so much kinder.
It was something I like to do, like just testing the boundaries of people to see who will stick around. Seeing my worst, basically. It was a very, very, very weird philosophy. Not many stuck around.
I don't know. It worked for me. I remember like you greeted me like hi whatever, and then you opened the door to your room and you said, "Hi guys, I brought you a woman." And I was like, this mean person just became so much closer to me because of I was like, he knew I wouldn't get super upset for real, and that's nice.
You had dreadlocks. You were like the hippiest one. I mean, you looked like it. You were not.
Yeah, I looked like it. I was the least hippiest person you ever met, probably, in your couchsurfing experience.
You were the least hippie one in that room that day.
Yeah, oh my god.
But you looked like it, like this long hair, dreadlocks, talking about art. And the only thing we were waiting for was some reggae and a joint in your hand, but you were not the one with the joint in your hand.
I know.
So,
And I was a Catholic.
Yeah. You were Catholic back then. Oh my god, I cannot believe I was the Antichrist to you. This is terrible. Oh, I would never forgive myself.
Yeah. It was crazy. Like I enjoyed this conversation. I was like so believing in what I was saying back then, but I think it was the seed in some.
Yeah, you were a Catholic who would pick and choose, and I just wanted you to be a good Catholic who would just not pick and choose, would just
embraces
commit,
everything.
would
Did
embrace.
you?
Yes, I just wanted you to embrace it. I wanted you to embrace it. Yeah, basically. But yeah, I called you mujer. You do not like it, and because I was in this state of being annoying, I was like, I kept calling you mujer, and you're like, if you call me mujer, I'm gonna call you mujer, and I'm like, bring it on. I'm not gonna stop now.
It's been years. I'm not stopping for some chica.
Yeah, and then it annoyed me actually. But I was like, it's the price to pay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course. You're calling me mujer. Come on. Like, my masculinity hurt a little bit. But again, on the other side, my annoying side was like, it's the price to pay. It's for a good cause.
For what good cause? For what good cause?
doing what I want.
It's the best cause of
Is calling you this, and somehow I stopped feeling the annoyance, and it just became, I just embraced the word, and it just became something I don't really know what it means anymore.
Yeah, it's so hard to define nowadays.
Like when
For me?
I call you mujer, I don't mean woman anymore. I mean you, basically.
Yeah. Totally. But for me, like until recently, you were a mujer and I was a mujer. But then, like I think for a few years now, there is some more mujeres in our life. Like sometimes someone does a move that is so mujer,
Yeah, we say that.
and
Oh, she's a mujer. Like, oh, he's a mujer.
yeah, exactly. So I think like it became this this concept in my mind of some strange kind. And sometimes, yeah, it's like, oh, I don't deserve to be called mujer anymore, like it's such a woman, or something like that. Like, what would a mujer say?
You've broken the vows. You remember we had
Yeah,
we had
kinda.
taken an oath that day. We signed a contract,
Somehow.
but what a mujer would or would not be. So,
Yes.
but yeah, it's
Yeah,
hilarious. Like
okay.
none of it was ever actually written or defined or articulated in words. It's just felt.
Yeah. I just remembered this moment when you called me and I was like in a swimming pool in Sergi's family house. And I was like, what? Who's calling? Sergi, can you just pick up? And he picks up and you say, Hola, mujer. And I was like, and I didn't get it even. But I forget that this word actually exists in Spanish in a different context.
Oh yeah.
So when I'm like,
Yeah,
mujer,
yeah.
it just means a friend. Just means a person capable of living in today's world, struggling with feelings and challenges and shit. But it's mujer, like it's mujer. And Sergi tells me like every time, like, dude, this is so weird. You guys call each other that.
Yeah, now it's a thing. There's no going back, I suppose. It'd be weird going back.
What would it even mean to go back?
But sometimes you call me Chico,
Do I?
Sometimes you call me Ra, sometimes you call me Habibi. It happens, yeah. You throw it in there,
Oh, but you too. You call me Habibti sometimes.
Yeah.
Or you call me Adriana.
I started calling you Adam, thinking of you as Adam more often, and it's hilarious because when I try to find your name, I always write Mujer and then nothing shows up on Facebook. Then I write Ada, and then I'm like, oh shit, like, oh Adriana, it's Adriana, Okay, this is a sad story, Mojarita, but like, I remember you easier as Chilonka than Adriana. So when it comes to your real name.
I think as long as you remember me as Mujer, it's fine. You will find me under Jelonka for now.
I mean, maybe I could just edit the nicknames on Facebook Messenger, then it can be found, faster.
Yeah. When I talk about you to someone, to my Oaza girls or to Sergi, I try to say Rahman. But most likely I say Ra or Mujer. But Mujer, like, then they never know who I'm talking about, Like, I have to be mindful. But when I think about you, definitely Mujer. Like, Mujer, like a heavy Mujer word drops into my mind. But I think I have you in my contacts as Mujer, though, so it's very easy to find for me.
Now we have Le Mujer and La Mujer.
So do you have any fears when it comes to this podcast? Or no? Or you're fearless as always?
I mean, I have never really published anything personal. So this
even your Instagram is a bit like unpersonal.
It's all about
you don't have many pictures of yourself and stuff, right?
Nature and water bodies. I'm crazy about water and just beauty and nature in general. I really like it.
Yeah.
I had published maybe a few blog posts that were related to travel, but none of them were really personal, like maybe tips, maybe how to get the visa, maybe what to do in that place, when I was freelancing
in
before.
Egyptian?
No, in English. It was not really a thing out of passion, you know. It was a thing I did for
Okay, I see.
travel websites, just for little money,
Mhm.
just because why not, you know? Can't say no to money. It's a weakness. As long as it's halal, of course.
Money can be haram?
Yeah, if you're selling drugs or whoring yourself out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
Or
I know it's a
stealing
bit
it.
of topic,
If you're
but
stealing it, it's haram, you know?
because I heard that banks, as we know them, are also haram. So you have to go through some fuss around it to make a bank halal even. Is
I
it
mean,
true?
interest is haram, you know? Gambling is haram. So if you're getting your money through interest or gambling, then yes, it is not really halal. For example, if you put $1 million in the bank and every year you get, I don't know, $50,000, then this money is dirty, basically, and it's going to be a curse. It's not
So
blessed money.
but people do it, right? They just
Yes.
like have
Everybody does it.
some way to go around it.
So yeah, I
Got
definitely
you.
have some. I don't mind being heard or listened to, but it's a very new thing. So far, I'm talking to you because I'm talking to you. You know, I'm comfortable talking to you. I'm not sure if I'm actually that interested in letting random people listen to me talk, but if they want to, then sure, they're welcome because I'm talking to you by the end of the day, you know. We're being nostalgic here and we're reminiscing, so I'm enjoying the conversation. Maybe some parts would have to be omitted, like because this can always be used against you in the court of law where I come from.
Yeah, but even though it probably cannot be used in law against me, I still have the same fear about the privacy, you know? I don't want to overshare. I think that I am a person who overshares super easily. Super, super easily. Like, I remember when I had an interview for a job and the guy told me, "Oh, you have such a great energy." I said, "Really? Actually, it's my first day of period and I'm kind of low." Why do I tell him this? No one wanted to know that, you know? Too much, totally too much. So that's what I'm very reluctant about recording the podcast too. I think we have a nice relationship. I hope it's nice to listen to because of that. I believe it's special because of like how different we are. But at the same time, we have a very close relationship and we basically say very private stuff to each other. So I for sure have to censor myself a lot while recording. And then what's left? Is it even interesting, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, of
sure.
course,
I hope
hashtag
so,
censor,
you know. Like, we'll see. This is our first run, okay? Trial number 1.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Where are you gonna publish it, actually?
I was thinking to not publish for some time, maybe for the 3 episodes, so we can see if we even want to publish it somewhere, because I see a great value in it just for myself. I love podcasts. I love podcasts and I listen to too many of them for sure. And I like memories, you know, when I was a teenager, I would sometimes record myself a video, like as a video journal. I noticed that something changes in me. For example, I remember when I had this thought that maybe I don't like traveling anymore. I was in Germany and I have this video on my YouTube. It's private and stuff. And I'm talking to the camera like why I think that I'm changing from a traveler to maybe more stable person, you know? It didn't happen back then. Like I just discovered I don't like traveling in groups that much. That maybe I'm more of a solo traveler, you know? But I love going back to my old self. So this, I think, would be just nice to have a few conversations of you and me, for the future, just to like revisit this moment, especially if it's not too long and we are still young and crazy, you know. So that's how it works.
I'm hitting mid-30s really soon. Way past young and way past crazy. Welcome to the
You're
chill
so
zone.
crazier.
You think I'm still crazy? Maybe I was a bit crazy, but am I still?
Dude, you go out so much and you actually crave that.
Do I?
I stay at home with my puzzles, with tea, book, recently even TV series because it's winter and apparently that's what I do now. But you go out to bars, you drink beers. This is high social life, I think.
Oh, I never thought I had a high social life. I drink beers with the dudes when they are around, and it's
You
nice
go
to
concerts.
do.
You go to concerts even.
Oh, last Friday night went to a concert with people I did not tell you about that I met through couch surfing.
Was this concert Italian?
There was an Italian guy there, yes, and the music was so nice. Yeah, they played some of my favorite tracks. It was really good. Yeah. The music was really nice. That night was actually pretty nice. Yeah, they're gonna come back tomorrow or the day after. I think we'll hang out again, proving your point, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yes.
Yeah.
So there is this concert tomorrow happening, the Brazilian band in a bar in Lausanne, and I was thinking about going. There is a social event happening around it, and I have a link for it and stuff. But it's at 9 p.m. and I'm thinking, maybe it's too late. I'm going to be so tired.
Okay.
You wouldn't even have this thought, you know? You would be just like, oh,
Mujer,
yes,
on most days, especially Fridays, I would finish work at 9:30. So I finish work then. I feel obliged to have some fun. Yes, so I feel like I should go out and have some fun.
But how you're not tired?
Of course I am. But I defy it.
Ara. I really look up to the way that you listen to yourself. People, I think normally they have a plan and then they don't want to do it anymore and then they stay home. But you, if you're like, yeah, I have to go out, and you just go and you don't feel bad about it even. Like I would go out and have miserable time.
Because the attitude would influence how you're feeling.
Yeah, but it's crazy that your tiredness doesn't affect your attitude.
It doesn't. It just makes me tired, yes. Like, I would forget about it, in the heat of the moment. Like, if I'm having a good conversation with the people, if we're listening to good music, if the whole vibe is positive and welcoming and relaxing and open, like, if it's a good night, then I'm gonna be enjoying that, Like, I would be tired, but I would go out maybe for 3-4 hours. I would go home at 2 or 3 a.m. at the weekend, and I would be very happy. I would be like, oh, why didn't we stay until 5 to make the best or the most out of it? Wow. I would be tired, but I never let being tired act as an excuse. I almost never cancel a plan, for example.
But being tired doesn't make you feel bad?
No, it's not bad. It's just tired. Like, I don't have a lot of energy, So I would just be calm. I'm not going to be shouting around. I'm going to be having a nice, calm, stable conversation with the person in front of me, And I might be having a little bit of backache because I'm sitting in front of the computer all the time, having these lessons that I teach online,
Yeah.
But I'm not feeling bad psychologically. I'm actually happy. I am connecting with a person.
Yeah, I get it. But when I am tired and I am meeting someone nonetheless, and I'm meeting this interesting person who is even my friend, if I'm tired, I don't even understand what they say sometimes. Like, I cannot focus for more than 1 minute. And I'm catching myself, asking questions to repeat. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah. So even when I'm drinking, I usually stay focused and attentive to a great extent. And mostly because I want to. You said you prepared a list.
Yes. So, what if someone gets upset?
One of us or one of them?
One of them. Like, what if I'm telling a story and, being still cautious and stuff, but I tell a story, I don't know, about my boyfriend or about some of my friend or something like this, and I don't find it wrong, I find it funny or something, but what if they actually listen? What if? Or what if I'm making fun of someone, like, I don't know, my coworker that I don't have currently, but let's say, and I don't think they are close to me and they will ever listen, but what if someday someone will tell them, or by any chance they will listen and they will get offended?
Okay, I think we should never mention names. Like Harry, for example, we could say Harold,
Also, we changed the names.
Yeah, basically.
We say Mujer H.
Like, For example, instead of saying Sally, I could say something like Sonia, you know? But I'm not talking about Sally or Sonia.
Yeah.
Or I could even say something better like Stalin, that guy from Russia or wherever he was from.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in for making up names, but some people will know, like just by the action. If Harry, Larry, Stalin listens to this, he knows it's him. He was in the bar and he
Say
doesn't
it's
see
not
anything.
you, Harry. It's Harold. It's not you. We promise you.
Okay.
I mean, of course, we also have to be a little bit thoughtful, we could still
I
cater
never
to
mean-
people's, sensitivities. And
Yeah.
we just have to think, do you think that person would be comfortable having that shared about them? Especially if they're easy to identify.
But like, come on. I'm not saying this is their secret. I'm just saying I met them today on the street and they made something and it made me think. Like, I wouldn't straightforward hate on the person, but still I think people are very sensitive and someone might
Yes.
get upset. And I'm worried about it.
Okay.
But it's just one of the worries,
Well, we changed the names and we try to be thoughtful in general. And if somebody gets upset, then we learn along the way about the boundaries not to cross or the lines. And I'm sorry to say that might cost you some people or not. I have no idea. Hopefully not, But
Hopefully not.
it's
Inshallah.
almost impossible to please everybody all at once.
You said almost.
I mean, you never know what technology could do.
Okay, point 2. What if it occurs that my English is terrible?
Marita, you studied philology. That's impossible.
But exactly, people have high expectations of me because I studied some philology many years ago.
Remember, by the end of the day, you podcasting is for you, not really for other people.
And for you.
As long as 10 years from now, when you listen again to your podcast, you can understand yourself and you can recognize all the utterances, the words you were saying, then you are good. If people do not understand you, if you're making grammatical mistakes, word choice errors, who freaking cares? I've just said who freaking cares? Who fucking says that? The correct word is fucking,
Ooh.
So
I just had an idea that if my English is that terrible, now we have a second language and we can always switch to Francois.
Yes. On peut parler en français.
Un peu, oui. Okay, number 3. And this is also about you. What if we are boring and we have nothing new to put on the table? And I think that's true, actually.
I mean, I find you very interesting for my taste. I presume I am to yours, maybe,
Yeah.
Again, if you want to publish a podcast. If people find boring, they will not listen. Our ego will be hurt a little bit. By the end of the day, we are not a podcast, The podcast is the last segment of our conversations. So, would it take a different shape? Would it adapt? Would we take whatever is happening into consideration and try to actually produce some content that would please the audience? I have no idea what that would be,
Do you think it's fine to just record a podcast and not aim into pleasing an audience?
I mean, usually a podcast would have a goal, something that you want to achieve. If you want to just let people know the news, you just want people to know the prices of stocks in the market, or let them know what's up with this new movie, what's happening, the brief story, the summary, the review,
Yeah.
Like, every podcast would have a goal. So I think, what's the goal of your podcast? That's a good question. And, well, if there is a specific goal, then we work towards it. If we have that, then there's nothing to worry about, as long as we cater to that goal, whatever it is. So you have to set a specific goal,
Yeah, I think I'm just afraid it's not enough, but my goal, I guess, would be opening the window to our relationship that we have, and it's so nice, and I like it a lot, to our conversations that we have nonetheless.
That can occur easily. basically by choosing some segments and sharing them. And if somebody wanna hear that and listen, fantastic, Then we don't need to really stress. We should not really be expecting followers. We can just, maybe somebody who knows us would listen once or twice. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, well, I would hope maybe that at some point there is some thought-provoking bits, maybe, that we sometimes have. Like, I often talk to my friends what we talked about, because I was like, we talked about this and that and religion and this book and I don't know, blah, blah, Rahman said, blah, blah. So I think we have moments that might be interesting, and I just hope to not stress about it too much.
Well, we're studying French now, and you read books, and I'm reading a book these days, so we might have some interesting thoughts to share or ideas.
That's true.
Okay, number 4.
That's true, and it's on topic because number 4 is, what if we have nothing to talk about?
But, we're always talking, There's always something.
I know, we're talking for hours sometimes, but
I don't know. What if there's nothing to talk about, then we use the trigger method. And the trigger method basically follows, look at that crayon. That reminds me of blah, blah. And it might sound like a thing a terrorist would say, but just keep shooting. Just keep pulling the fucking trigger more.
I like that. I like that.
That's how I have random conversations with strangers. I just start telling stories that nobody gives a shit about because something they said reminded me of something. I'm like, yeah, that reminds me of that time I was in India. Do you know that actually it's not chai tea, it's just chai or tea. Chai means tea means chai, which also reminds me of naan bread, and then you just keep going on, until people get bored and everybody moves on with their lives because they think you're always on monologues like I am right now. Number 5, please. Save us.
Number 5, and the last one. What if the podcast changes our relationship?
That's something that crossed my mind. Now we're talking business. Yeah.
Bring it on.
That's a fear, yes. What if that affected our relationship, What if it affected it for better? What if for worse? I have no idea,
Yeah, because Sergi asked me, how did you even have an idea, And I actually think we talk every week for years. Jesus Christ, but yes, years. And at the beginning, we were learning Arabic. Sometimes we would have presentation about art or just something to say. And recently, we just have updates to tell to each other. But what if less and less happens in our lives, and we feel less motivation to have these regular meetings? And this relationship is quite important to me, Mujer. Don't tear up, please. But I would hate to make it any less important and less present in my life. So I was like, this podcast could be just embracing the habit that we already have, but adding some more meaning and some more weight to it. So we actually never skip, or we actually and also maybe a challenge. Yeah, but it's more serious, I feel I will not be so quick to reschedule the meeting maybe now, or I don't know. It might become just a chore.
We've never been so quick to reschedule the meeting. It probably happened 6 times in the last 3 years or something. It's not a thing that happened frequently.
Yeah, I have no more points. If you have some more anxieties, you can share them now, I think.
Like I said, you're gonna be basically the dictator of this podcast, at least right now. It's all in motion. I would be getting inspired, but like I said, it's something you want to do because you see something, you have a vision. But I'm a willing participant because I appreciate you, and if I can be there when you're doing something that you like, then that's fantastic. That's a little project that we can work on as friends, and that would be amazing. and hopefully it'll be only adding positive aspects to, the relationship that we have. But I'm not sure about, that kind of commitment. Can it bring anything bad to the table? I have no idea. I hope not. Inshallah not, but it's a possibility because I don't know what will happen exactly. I'm not sure, If we publish, who will listen? What will they say? How would that reflect on us? The aftermath of things happening can be traumatizing sometimes. You don't really know. So by the end of the day, at least in the beginning, because I'm not exactly feeling inspired to be podcasting, I'm feeling just willing to be, and maybe
I get it.
maybe when we do 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 podcasts, maybe I would finally feel, maybe I would also start having a vision about where or how. Because right now I'm like, let's try this, yay.
Yeah, but I'm like the same, like I feel like we talk so much every week. So basically it doesn't hurt us to just hit record and see if we can do something
that
from
too,
that.
if you, this logic is actually beautiful. Your goal, as you stated it, is opening the window or the door to whatever we're doing and how we do it, and that sounds very reasonable. That would not add too much pressure on any of us, I hope, inshallah,
I think so, yeah.
And then we can just keep it real. That's what matters, I think. Some thoughtfulness, of course,
Just interesting. Like, you are interesting to me because you live in a different country, you are a very, very different person. You work as a teacher, which is super interesting too. Me, I believe, living in Switzerland and stuff, like, my life is also interesting to you from time to time, no?
All the time.
That's what I wanted to hear. Beautiful. Alhamdulillah, we finished. Alhamdulillah, your flowers bloom.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful. Haven't died yet, but they will probably. Not sure when. I'm gonna keep you updated.
Thank you. Let's hope to never,
Yeah,
Inshallah.
that'd be amazing. Yeah. Inshallah.
Thank you, Mujer, for podcasting and for talking.
Thanks, Mujerita, for being there and being you.
Sleep tight. Masalama.
Right. Masalama.